Okay, man, we're going to talk about protections this week, and I want to specifically focus on the quick passing concepts for six-man protection and then the rhythm passing concepts for six-man protection as well. Now, there can be five-man, six-man, seven-man, eight-man protections. And in this video, I'm also going to show you two collegiate protections, two six-man protections that will kind of identify how much more depth there is to this subject when you get to college football. All right, so let's start off first by taking a look at our quick passing concepts. If we had all hitch, all slant, slant arrow, fade bubble, a very common kind of protection is six-man gap protection. All that means is that everyone gaps. All right, so everyone just gaps. They step into a gap. It's gap secure, and then the running back, whether it's H or F or whatever your nomenclature is, gets the C gap. So this is a C gap player, B gap, A gap. Very simple. What's nice about this is that blitzing doesn't matter, right? So they can dog Mike, they could double, cross, they could, all kinds of different things can happen. We don't care. It's not man assignment. Mike doesn't matter. Basically, we're just securing the A and B gaps for any run throughs, and we're getting rid of the ball so quickly that a free rusher from the outside can't even get to us before we throw it. Okay, so it's nice. This is sometimes misused at lower levels of football. I think, like Little Loop sometimes, and even some high school, people just say that they're going to play gap and try to have rhythm passing and do different things with this. And the problem is that you get a defensive end rushing on a running back all the time, right? And that's not a good matchup. He loses it always, and you don't have very much time here. So that's not a good situation for rhythm. This is simply, and I'm only talking about this from a quick passing standpoint. Secure the A-B gaps. Don't worry about the dogs and blitzes, and make sure that this is really tight in here. Okay, so that's what I would say there for the gap passing. Then we look at rhythm. So there's two different concepts here for this, and that is big on big, which is a simple concept for man principled, and then slide, which is a six-man for zone principled. Okay, so I want to go through that, and just let me clean this up here, and then after I show you this, I want to take a walk back and show you some of the college stuff that that you're heading into, right? If you're somebody that has aspiration playing college football, you got to be really good at the protections, right? So Bob basically just says that my five bigs have these four bigs plus Mike, right? So we're going to identify who the Mike is. In this case, we'll say that this is the true Mike. So we know, and this is a good practice to do, just circle this in your notebook so you know that those guys are picked up. Then we assign this H to a back. Generally, it's to the side that he's going. If he happened to be in a home position, you could have this assigned however you wanted it to. He could go for Sam, or he can go for Will. Let's say that he's going to go for Will, right? This is a split field coverage scenario, let's say. So he's assigned to Will. If Will comes, he is going to take him. Nickel Sam, that leaves Nickel Sam or Sam as somebody who is the quarterback's man. So if we were to get a situation where Sam or Nickel Sam dogs, then this would create a hot in the big on big scheme, right? This would create a hot in the big on big scheme. So this is the quarterback's man, and now the quarterback has to throw the ball off of this dog, and that's what a hot actually is. Okay, so what I like about big on big is it gives you the ability to change the mic. So if we were able to get, like, let's say the Will walks up, right, like this, and we don't like that situation, we could just make him the mic. We point him the new mic, and now these five have those five. The way it actually works out is these guys, will work together to get those three, and then these guys have those two, and all of it is in our minds wrapped like that. right? We're picked up, and now my back goes to Mike, and now I'm still off of Sam. So I like that part of this, the ability to change who the Mike is. And most of the protections that we're going to look at have that same ability. They do it with different words and different code words and stuff. But in the end, that's what they're doing. So if we're doing to move from a slide protection, a bob protection to a slide protection, essentially what we're saying is that we're going to find the Mike and we're going to slide to the next guy outside of Mike. So the center comes up and says, okay, he's the Mike. So we know we're sliding to the Will. What does that mean? We're going to take these four players and they're going to work together to slide out to Will, right? And then that creates a dual read on the front side. So this back dual reads that. And so what this tells us as a quarterback is, okay, if Mike dogs were good because the H has them, or if Sam dogs were good because H has them, but if both dog, we have to throw the ball, right? And that's the real issue. If Will dogs, the tackle is going to fan for him and take him, right? Everyone fans out and we're good. So this is nice because if they have to bring 7 in order for us to be in a hot situation. All right, so what I like about this is you can flip this around too, right? You might come out and say we're in slide left, and then all of a sudden, you get this kind of a look here where the Sam or nickel Sam starts to walk down. If you don't like slide left to Will, okay, well we just flip it, right? We just flip this, and now we're in a situation where these 5 have those 5, right? And my back is Mike to Will. Okay, so those are the basic principles. And what does this all boil down to? It all boils down to you knowing who is the unblocked player, right? In slide, if we're sliding to the Sam here, we know that Mike and Will would have to both come at the same time in order to be hot, right? And that's real easy to see on the front side here like this, right? And that's why I like it. I'm going to show you a couple different situations where the teams do it differently. So let's dive in here. I want to show you this college protection that this team calls it June. Okay, and basically, if you let's dive into exactly what they're saying. Um, Here's the rules. Number one, this is a 6-man protection, so we can see that the back is involved. Okay, they will work to the true Mike. Okay, the true Mike, and they actually have the back responsible for either or +1 to the front side or -1 to the back side, the Sam or the Will. Okay, so they have some code words here. So a Ringo or a Lucky would be a 3-man slide. All right. A Rocky or a Loco would be sliding to the +1. Okay. With the center being the last in the slide, and Ranger and Lancer is a 4x4. So that's the 4-man slide that I showed you, where the guard would be last in the slide. All right, so they can move their mic, in other words, right? They can change the mic with these words and tell the lineman who to take, okay? But just in general, they're going to the true mic. You could see these 3 working together for the true mic, and then the back works to a +1 or a -1. Okay, so there's a lot of different scenarios here, but in the end, the tight end is out and we only have 6 men in protection. The quarterback would have to know that if both the Sam and the Will dogged, he would have to throw hot. I'm not crazy about going from one side to the other like that. I'm not saying it can't work, but in the lower levels of football, that's very challenging. And it's hard to see this guy and this guy at the same time from the quarterback standpoint. If they both dog, which side, how do you know which side he's going to take? Well, the back takes the most dangerous inside guy. Okay, theoretically that sounds great, but that's challenging, right? And maybe they don't bring all 7 all the time, and maybe that could be an issue. But again, this is a 6-man concept. This team actually does this with different names. So they use the months. So June is the 6th month, so they have 6 man. I think they have like July as the 7 man protection, and I think May is the 5 man protection, which is kind of cool. I've seen that. But anyways, I wanted to show you this. Let's take a look down here at a different one. Um, so here is a team that does it with actual numbers. So 6 man and then 0 to the right, 6 man, 1 to the left. So they also have, 4 down and 3 down rules. Okay, and I'll show you that for a second, but let's just kind of walk through here. The offensive line will point to Roy. So they use like words to demonstrate who is who. Okay, so um, it's very interesting how they do this, and I'll show you, um, how it works. But the point is where our 3 man slide will go to, and the backside guard and tackle our man side. So that's interesting. And then when they get to a 3 man front, an odd front, they use something called spray. Now they also do the 6 man. They go to the field side here when it's 2-by-2 formation, but when they get to 3-by-1, they actually slide this to the short side of the field, which is really interesting. So I'll show you a picture of that. So this is just the 60 and 61 out of the 2-by-2. You can see the tight end right here, right? So when they come out, this is the nickel Sam here is what they call the strike. This is the Roy. Okay, they call this Roy. If we wanted to send the lineman to the inside, it would be Rip. So right inside, right outside Roy. And then over here, this would be Lou, and this would be Liz, right? So that tells these guys where to go. So here's an example. Let's look up, keep it on this side. So for whatever reason here, they're going 61. Okay, they're going 61 here, so that tells everyone going to the left. And you can see that there's the Lou call. If they wanted to bring it to this guy, it would be to the Liz. If they want to bring it to this guy, they'd have to probably go 60 right to the right. But this is Rip, and this would be the Roy guy. So it's interesting how they do that. The other thing that was interesting about this is that when they went into the odd front, they did something called spray, right? So the spray just meant that, the one side took those two, the other side took those two, the center manned up, and then the back was responsible for both of these guys in the A gaps, which seems problematic, right? Seems problematic, but this is how they do it, right? They just have a spray call. So really interesting setup there. I've included those for your enjoyment to take a look at. But you're heading into college football. You're gonna become a master of who is in protection, how they do it, and I would highly recommend taking a look at that stuff. But the next piece of it for everybody would be this. Find out what your protections are, write them down in your notebook, draw up a schematic like this with your different formations, and then go in here and like actually circle who is picked up. Because the thing that happens to us as quarterbacks is, like, if you understand, you go to the line of scrimmage, you understand that those guys are picked up and he's picked up, then you're not worried about this dog or this dog. You're not concerned about that at all. The only guy you're really focused on is that guy. And if he comes, then you got to react, right? And that's what this is about. It's about understanding who's picked up and who isn't.